Okay, as the founder of a direct-to-consumer brand starting from scratch, navigating the 0 to 1 path, would you advise focusing on organic posting or investing in paid ads from the get-go? Additionally, if leaning towards the latter, should I handle it myself or consider hiring somebody given our limited resources?
Okay. Starting a direct-to-consumer brand from scratch, organic posting is... Okay, so let's think about what organic posting here is, like posting on Instagram, posting on Facebook,
Reels,
Twitter,
TikTok,
all that
probably
kind of
some level of influencer seeding, basically things that are non-paid ads.
Yeah. This is such an uphill battle to get organic posting when you have a brand that like no one recognizes. And first, no one's following you. How are you going to get any sales? No one's following you. So like your first 100 people may see your brand, but not purchase. Maybe the first 10,000 people may see the brand and not purchase. And it's going to take you a long time to go from 0 to 1,000 on Instagram. It's not going to take you a day. It's going to take you months.
Yeah.
And so I think that I like the idea of organic posting. It's like, I would say, look, if you're like very resource constrained and you're getting into the business, probably there's nothing else you can do. Like you can go to Product Hunt, you can try and go to Reddit and get into like communities like that. Like one of my friends launched this leather goods company and he was really active in a blog called, not a blog, but like a forum called Style Forum, where people would talk about like, the best handbag to carry or the best watch or stuff like that. And he'd be like, oh, we're using vegetable tan leather and we're getting it from here. And so people would get excited about his product and he would get some sales that way. And that was an interesting way of like getting sales.
Yeah.
But it was a long-term game, right? When he started with the idea, he started posting about it. And then when he started selling, you could sell a few units there. I think that you got to try paid early because you want to see if you can scale that. And that's how you get from $5 to $10 million. Very few people are able to get to $10 million without some type of paid advertising being the backbone of that growth. But if you're organic, if you're constrained by resources, you can do organic. You just have to be clever about it. It cannot just be, I just posted on Instagram and Reels. It has to be, I was on Reddit forums. I created Reddit threads that were super interesting. I was on Style Forum or forums like that. Like if you're, for instance, there's a company called Rome.travel, which is a graduate of YC, and they help you book travel on points. And they're almost like Expedia, but they show you point results. I'd be on Flyer Talk and forums about travel if I were launching something like that. That's good organic posting. Just Instagram Reels, it won't be enough.
Yeah. I would say, I actually think I would recommend getting your first 50,000, if not 100,000 of revenue organically. Because I think it forces you to create content and put it out on like Reels, TikTok, and Shorts. I think it also helps you understand like what type of messaging are you, like who's your customer, who's buying versus who you think is your customer. Because those are, if you're starting from scratch, those are always two completely different people. I think it forces you to be creative about how you are messaging and how you are, how you're even setting things up. For example, if you're given a card with $100,000 and you're just launching, you might be eager to turn the ads on and start running traffic to your site, but your site forgets to mention, what is the actual benefit of the product?
Great point.
When does it arrive? And so I think it's worth getting the first chunk of sales organically. And then I think once you figure out what works, it's worth putting paid behind that. And I say this with the regret of sometimes even spending too early and then later thinking, I should have taken this $20,000 and actually just put it toward getting better content made for organic or seeding it to influencers or trying to figure out what are like the broke man's way of getting top of funnel before turning the ads on.
I guess the question is like, isn't the organic posting going to lead to the same issues of like, oh, you forgot to put like important feature benefits of your product. You forgot to put reviews, all that kind of stuff. Is it going to be the same, but it's going to take longer, especially at $50,000, $100,000?
Yeah, I think it would take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We have a brand that we quietly launched and it took us about 2 months to hit that 50,000 just from organic. Whereas. And
you're a pro. Right? Like you live, so like if you're,
but I wouldn't say I was a pro with organic before we started this.
Okay.
And that was honestly like the biggest slap in the face to me was, wow, I actually know nothing about the 0 to 1.
Okay, yeah.
This is I genuinely think the 0 to 1 is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Once you get your first $100,000 in sales, it's basically 10 times easier than the first 100,000.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part because you have to figure out not only like, sure, you might have a great product, but you're like, okay, but which specific audience, I'm not just selling to women. Am I selling to women who are 24 to 36? Am I selling to women who are 46 to 74? You got to get very specific. What is the reason they're going to buy my product versus a competitor? And I think it's worth figuring those things out without spending money on paid.
Yeah. That's fair. I like, when we launched Native, and this was, a long time ago, we launched on Product Hunt.
Yeah.
And we were subscription only. And like the first not 40, but like the first dozen comments were, I would buy this if this wasn't a subscription. And so then I was like, okay, let me take off the subscription. And that's what made the business work.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot of truth to what you said. I would still do paid first. All that said, I would still do paid first.